Hi everyone, I'm Jay and this is the Camden Stitch. Hiya, thanks for joining me today. I have finally got my greasy little mitts on January Burda. I do always try and bring it to you as soon as I can after it's come out, but we do get it quite late in the UK. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. I am wearing my new jumper that I made from Burda, December Burda. It's got these lovely buttons down the back. I made it up in a houndstooth, a leopard skin and this one, and it's so snug and yummy. The only thing you've got to be careful about is if you wear it with tights, you've got to be careful because I've cut them quite mini. I have to remember not to raise my arms because I flashed my bum to the whole of the bus. So that's that. Let's get to what you actually came for, which is Burda. Now last month I was quite excited looking at the preview page, but I have to say I am slightly underwhelmed by January's Burda. The first item that they've got is a cape. It's not clear to me if this cape has separate sleeves. If it doesn't, I'm not interested. I absolutely love how capes look, but they are completely bloody impractical. The blurb says, generally the conversation around capes brings up at least one person that finds the look complicated, restrictive movement, or maybe too much fabric. Right, so it talks about them and talks about them being practical and how all the ones on the runway have slits or sleeves, which they do, the ones that they've shown. But then I cannot see in the one that they've actually given us, the pattern, it doesn't mention that it's got sleeves. And it doesn't look like it's got sleeves from the line drawings. So I'm not quite sure how that works. The next pattern we've got is for some culottes that remind me quite a lot of I think it's the Megan Nielsen Flint culottes, but it might be a different pattern by Megan Nielsen, I can't remember. But they are very wide leg culottes with two deep pleats down the front of each leg, and they're very nice. I have to say, for me, culottes are more of a summer look. I think in the same way as my neck gets cold, my ankles get cold. I don't want drafts up there, but they're quite pretty. Next up, we have got quite a simply constructed jacket. Oh, it's 3 dots actually. It looks quite simple. They've made it in a faux suede, which makes it look more of a jacket, but I'd actually say it looks more like a kind of wrap type top because it's got a tie belt and stuff. Can I just say, by the way, this model really reminds me of Gabby in the face, you know, Gabardashery. If anybody else watches Gabby's channel, then just see what you think. So next up we've got a dress with pleats at the neckline. I do very much like these pleats at the neckline. It gives quite an origami look. So we've got pleats at the neckline, which then taper into waist darts, and then the waist darts in the skirt go out as well. So they it gives like an origami type look. And I think it's really nice. You know, Burda always do one fitted dress, and I think they do them really well actually. Now we have got a simple blouse, and I think it looks lovely on the model, but I think that's partly because they've used a really gorgeous fabric. I kind of don't understand the pattern. It's got these sleeves that are joined on at the elbow with a little pleat in. I mean, maybe if you could see the pleats better, you might be able to understand why that kind of design decision was made, because to get that silhouette for me, you don't need the join in the sleeve because it chops you off at the arm. If that went just straight down the sleeve, then you know you've got your little gather at the bottom to give the balloon sleeve look. I don't know, don't quite understand. Then we've got a paper bag skirt. I quite like this skirt. I quite like the silhouette of it. You know, it's hard for me to get excited about skirts because I just wear them so rarely. But I really like the look of it. Then we've got our Gabby model again. I really think she looks like Gabby with this turban on. And I love this top that she's wearing. I love the fabric. I love the design. It's very reminiscent of the Tilly Buttons Coco, but it's a woven pattern and it has got the addition of gathers at the neckline, just in the centre. Later on in this edition, they've got it as a dress as well, and it looks brilliant there as well. I really like that. Then we have got this dress, which I think really is my highlight from this edition of Burda. I think it's really nice. In fact, I've just thought of some fabric that I would like to make it up in. It's got a kind of tie thing at the neck, but it's contained by a tab, so it looks like it would hang quite well. I think I would like 2 ties though. I think 1 tie looks strange, maybe without another one underneath it. Or maybe just full on bow. I don't know. But I do like the asymmetric kind of tie at the shoulder line. Apart from that, it's quite a simple dress, just with a darted bodice, a kind of quarter circle skirt it looks like, and sleeves that have got a little elbow dart, which Burda always put an elbow dart in the sleeves. They have made it in a viscose, but this is the sort of pattern that I would really like to wear in a jersey. And I've just got some jersey from Pound Fabrics, some polka dot jersey that I think would look really nice in this pattern. So maybe that might be coming in the next month. Now, I really like the look of this top until I actually saw the line drawing and I realised now that it's a hoodie. I thought it was a kind of really cool cowl back top, but what it is, it's a hoodie that they've made up in viscose, not a zip front hoodie, just a hooded sweater really, and they've made it up in a viscose. It's got like blouse type sleeves with a cuff and plackets, a button cuff and plackets, a loose unfitted bodice, no darts, and then a hood. It's just kind of odd. Like, seriously, where is that going to take you? It's not going to take you to the office. It's not going to take you to the gym because it's not the right type of fabric. And who's going to wear like blouse button cuffs at the gym? Maybe a brunch or something, I don't know. I just don't understand the rationale behind it. Then we have a lovely long jacket, which I really like, that has got these, they're not notched lapels, it's one long lapel with like a join in it. It's nice and it's quite a simple sew, it's 2 dots. It's a bit of a coatigan, I think. Now we've got a gorgeous coat, which I think was in one of the larger size sections a couple of months ago, because I think I said I really loved it and that I wanted to grade it down for me. It's just a really classic design with darts at the neck, waist seam, faux flaps that give it a really nice look, although you can't see it in the fabric that they've chosen to sew it up in. Side seam pockets. I really like it. I'd definitely consider making that. The sewing lesson is for the blouse with the funny little pleats in the arm. Then we have got how to make very, very cute embroidered brooches that look like little butterflies or moths. And I think this trend must be in because there was something very similar in Threads magazine this month. Similar sort of sewing lesson. It's really pretty. I mean, it looks to me like it would take a lot of patience because you're sewing these tiny little beads on. But it would be a very pretty gift to someone or to kind of decorate a cardigan or something. Now, we have got a gathered poncho. It looks like a kind of 1970s beach cover-up. It looks very Margot. It's not doing much for me in that fawn colour, but that is a colour that I have never worn in my life and I don't think I would ever wear. But I think if it was like in some fabulous emerald green chiffon, I'd probably be going for it. Then we've got a funnel neck jumper. I love a funnel neck jumper and I love the look of this. I think it's really nice. I think maybe with it being cropped at that length, it maybe looks a little bit too boxy. I mean, I do like a cropped jumper, but I think because the sleeves are not tapered, I think it's kind of boxy at the neck, boxy in the body, then it's cropped, then it's boxy in the sleeves. It's maybe a little bit too boxy, but I would kind of either taper those sleeves or I would cut them to 3/4 lengths, and I think that the proportions would look a bit better. Then we've got a top which I would have thought is made of jersey, but no, they have made it in a satin and they've called it a blouse, and it's got like stripes so pieced into the sleeves, which give it a kind of activewear look. I don't know if this, what do they call it? Sports leisure. I don't know if sports leisure is a thing at the moment. I'm guessing it is because we seem to be seeing a lot of it in this month's Burda. And again, I'm sorry, I think these are awful, these trousers. I'm really sorry if you like them, by the way. There's only so many kind of polite things I can say. They're really nice trousers, but they've got a stripe sewn into them and it just jars. The colours that they've used to sew it up jars. I am not a fan of the tuxedo stripe. I don't think it's ever enhanced a trouser. I mean, they're suggesting that they're office trousers, but not for me. Then we've got that hoodie that is made up here in a fawn, this hoodie blouse. They're saying the elegant fabric elevates the look to a fresh option for the office. Not any office I've ever worked in. I mean, the offices I used to work in, you could actually go to work in a hoodie because there wasn't a dress code. But if you were doing that, you would be wearing a comfy, cosy, warm hoodie. Then we've got this dress with the neckline that I like, with the gathers at the neckline, which I really like the dress. I think if I was making that dress up, I would make it in more of an A-line style like the Coco. But I think that's because straight styles don't really do much for me because I'm so tiny on the top, big on the bum. I'm better off with something that tapers out. Then we've got the coatigan pattern made up that looks very much like a coatigan. I really like this one. It's a parka and it's, what's it sewn in? Satin. I mean, it's matte. It doesn't look like shiny satin. It looks like a, what's it called, Q-Pro, something like that. I mean, this isn't my style vibe, but I think that if you sewed that up in a Q Pro, that would look really chic. Then we've got the fashion designer pattern. It's by a design duo called Talbot Runhoff. I've never heard of them, but that might be my ignorance. So the designer pattern is a jumpsuit. I feel like jumpsuits have had their moment, but maybe they will come back with a bang in the summer. But certainly I haven't seen many of them around for autumn winter. I do like this jumpsuit. I like the fabric they've sewn it up in, which I guess is to replicate the designer one. It's a sporty boiler suit meshes with a sparkly disco fabric. I've got a pattern for a jumpsuit that's almost identical to this, and it's from the early 90s. And it's very much this boiler suit look, but not a casual boiler suit, more of a dressy boiler suit, if you know what I mean. Right, I'm just going to have a look in the sewing instructions about the cape. Right, the cape has snap fasteners. Well, one snap fastener just there, so that you can move your arms around. I'd rather have sleeves. I really like capes with sleeves in. And Burda have got an amazing jacket that's like a funnel neck, asymmetric cape coat. So basically the coat is flared and the sleeves are flared, so it gives the silhouette of a cape, but you've got the kind of comfiness and ease of a coat, the practicality of a coat, and I really like that. That's in my to sew list. Then we have got the wrap coat that was sewn up in that faux suede, the purple faux suede. They've made it up in a coating, and this is a longer version, and I don't really like it. It's making it looks quite, it looks a bit potato sacky, and I always think if it looks like that on a model who's likely to have very long legs, very ideal fashion proportions, usually very slim. In fact, seeing her in another picture, she is very slim, but in this picture it looks very potato sacky, the coat, which makes me think it's not going to suit anyone. Speaking of not suiting anyone, here's some bootcut trousers. I know that bootcut trousers do suit some body types, but not this body type, I tell you. And they look so awful here. Do you know what they remind me of? Farrah trousers. Do you remember Farrah trousers? The lads used to wear the Farrahs with the little F tab on the back pocket. Then we've got a dress with a kind of turned down asymmetric collar, which I like, which again they've made out of viscose. I think they've been bulk buying the old viscose. Very nice. Then we've got the paper bag skirt made up in satin, which I wouldn't go for necessarily, but I'm not liking this, the styling and the way they've sewn the samples this issue. I don't know if it's different teams who do it. Then we've got the weird blouse with activewear stripes on the arms, which they kind of tried to use a reverse print for, and it doesn't work. This fabric just doesn't work. It's too small. It's not different enough to make a statement, and it's not similar enough to look the same. It just looks like a mistake. Then we've got the dress with the pleats in the neck. That looks very nice. It's kind of very plain and simple, but looks quite nice. They've made it in twill, which I think is probably a good choice. Then we've got the funnel neck jumper made up in a boucle, which looks really, really cozy and really yummy. By the way, this model's hair, my hair is naturally that curly. If I left my hair a la the curly girl method, my hair would be that curly. I've only ever worn it, there's only one photograph in existence of me wearing it like that, and it's on my Mac. I couldn't tell you where it is, so you're not going to see it, I'm afraid. One day I'll find these photographs and show you. I also used to have a foot-long Mohican, by the way, which it is worth getting out that picture because it's so impressive, my hair. Anyway, then we've got the culottes, which they've used the same fabric for that they made that blouse stripe in. Then there's another sewing lesson for your Farrah trousers. Then we've got the retro pattern, which I love. I love the brocade that they've sewn it in. Yeah, I really, really like it with this pleated skirt. I was just in a mind to draft a pattern similar to this, but the one I wanted to draft is more of a pinafore. It's more loose fitting on the top and you would wear it with something underneath it, but it's got a pleated skirt in a similar waist point and similar sort of flap pockets. I really like it. Now we have got the larger sizes. The first pattern we've got is a jacket that's got a similar cut to a denim jacket, but it's got a placket with hidden, oh, it's a hidden button placket, concealed button placket I think you call it. They've sewn it up in the same strange sort of orange and grey viscose print, but this is a different type of fabric. This is a jacquard, but it looks very similar to the viscose they used in other patterns. It's just very orange, this edition of Burda. Then we've got like a tunic top, which is alright, but it's a little bit dull. It's got a split hem that's lower at the back, high-low hem you call it, don't you? An exposed zipper at the front, centre front. So I mean, I suppose it's got some interesting details, but they are always quite keen on a tunic, aren't they, for the larger size range. Then we've got some trousers which I like, and I think that these might have been in Burda before on the other size range. They're like combat trousers, but made in a Q-Pro or something, Tencel. They do look quite nice. Then we've got a very basic yoke blouse. Flip over and we've got a kind of shirt dress, like a utility dress with like a Henley placket and toggles at the waist. Everything's got this flipping sport looks. They've not mentioned it anywhere that it's got this sporty sort of vibe. But I would not, like, they've made it up in a dress fabric, and I wouldn't be putting like toggles on an elasticated waist on a dress. It just, that's made up in that fabric, just doesn't look right for me. Then we've got the tunic, and they've made it up, put some grommets on the yoke part, and I actually really like that. I think that that's a really nice detail, and it's a really nice rendering, shall we say, of the style. Then we've got an asymmetric skirt, Burda do it every issue. Although the look comes across as easy, the draping of the asymmetric skirt is quite dreamy and beautiful. The secret? The panel set into the left side is straight and the remaining pieces are cut on the bias. I'm sure that that skirt was in, like, last edition. Then we've got the jacket again, I quite like that. Just found some cording and a toggle on the side because they are obviously determined to get... Do you think the editor is stood there going, it must have sporty details, Ath-Leisure, Ath-Leisure? The, it's not the sewing lesson, but the kind of how-to is how to construct welt pockets, which is always good to know. And that is it from Burda. There's the preview for the next edition, which is not immediately taking my eye, but previews can be very kind of, the preview doesn't necessarily give you the full picture, does it? By its very nature, it's a preview. Right, what did you think of it? Was I unfairly harsh to Burda this month? Let me know your views, and if you want to roast me and say that I am just too mean, then please feel free and do that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, then please consider subscribing. I'm quite a long way away from it at the moment, but I live very, very close to the UK headquarters of YouTube, and if I get 10,000 subscribers, I can go in there and use their facilities, and that would make me feel like I was in LA, in Silicon Valley, being really flash. Yeah, you can work from there. It's called like a creator centre or something. And yeah, use all the facilities and stuff. And they've probably got like, I don't know, vending machines that give you free sweets and things like that, and table tennis tables and fake grass everywhere, because that's what these places are like. But anyway, at the moment I'm just looking to get 3,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed, then please click on the subscribe button, which is just underneath. Thank you very much. I shall see you next time. Lots of love from me. Stay tuned if you want to see Betsy in a box. Bye.